So here's a rundown of the wormhole. It consists of 3 challenges, and in each challenge there's 8 levels. On the 4th level you fight a mini boss, and on the 8th level you fight the main boss. The main thing you're focusing on are medium-sized enemies, that way you can fill up your progress bar and get buffs. Now buffs are these little triangles, and what you're trying to do are stack these up, and you want to get the buffs that synergize well with your main damage dealer character. For example, my main damage dealer is Samir, so I got the stamina reduction buff. On top of that, once you reach 4 stacks of a buff, it ranks up. If you get 8 stacks, it reaches rank 2, and it's very easy to get 1 buff that is rank 2 by the time you fight the final boss. And the last thing to note, if you're taking a considerable amount of damage, make sure you're picking up these healing orbs. They actually heal you for a considerable amount. Alright, now that we know how it works, I'm going to show some gameplay footage and give you some tips I found along the way. Just go for the medium-sized enemies. They're the ones that generally drop the buffs. And they also increase your progress bar quite a bit. Also, take your time, go around the map, see if you can find any random triangles, so you can get free buffs without filling up your progress bar. Just at the end of the day, this is not a race, you're just trying to make your character as strong as possible by stacking as many buffs as you can. A couple other things to note, there are some trap buffs. There's like a buff that increases the damage you do, but you also take more damage. I don't really recommend this buff unless you're a well or you feel like you're just doing a lot of damage. On top of that, there's a buff to where you do more damage after you kill an enemy. When you're fighting the mini boss and you're fighting the main boss, you're not going to be killing enemies, so I would avoid those. Also, there's some mini bosses that have the mount technique. You want to make sure that you have out the weapon they're weak against, so that way you can do double the damage to them. And for the last boss, hopefully by this time you have a couple buffs that are stacked up and synergize well with your damage dealers. A couple things to note, when you break the last boss's shield, they're generally stunned for a couple seconds, so this is a good time to do most of your damage techniques. Also, the boss will use a lot of big, strong techniques, so you might want to save some of your iframe moves to avoid those. Also note that the enemies in the wormhole are weak against fire and ice, so if you have characters that have those elements, bring them along, especially if they're powered up. If you don't have any, it's not the end of the world, but at least know that it's an option. A couple of the MVP characters in the wormhole would be Meryl with her 1-star ability. When she shatters someone's shield, she heals you for 8% of your health, and is not affected by the reduced healing. We also have King's Awakening, to where if you kill a certain amount of enemies, you're also healed for a certain percentage. And then we have Nemesis, to where you can dodge and heal. It is reduced, but you're constantly dodging, so you're constantly healing up, and that adds up. On top of that, if you dodge and then you shoot, you do a slow technique, slowing down the bosses, making it easier to hit. So now that all that's complete, let's talk about the Wormhole Rewards. So you get access to this free box, and if you complete all 3 challenges, you can buy this 3 times, so you can get a total of 6 gold nucleus, some gold, weapon batteries, and matrix packs. Not bad. On top of that, you can buy the Wormhole Supply Box for 450 Dark Crystals. And you can buy this 3 times. And I know that's quite a bit of Dark Crystals, but this is a pretty crazy value. You're getting booster modules, advanced modules, potent omnium crystals, also some proof of purchases. It's not bad, but I understand if you're free to play, you don't want to spend any crystals, you might want to pass, but if there was ever anything to spend crystals on, this might be it. Well, hopefully you found this helpful. If so, check out my CS guide, or otherwise check out my day 9 progression guide. But other than that, talk to you guys later.